was on a Friday. I was working at a Pizza Hut, at my Pizza Hut where I work, and then those two detectives that came to talk to me, they wanted to talk to me about a burglary that happened, but it was a lie. That I was already a suspect. But they were saying, if you know who did it and you don't tell us, you can get the death penalty. Like that was, I was like immediately within 10 minutes, the death penalty. You get the death penalty. If you know anything and you don't tell us, then we're going to go for the death penalty. So this went out for a couple of hours. It was a good cop, bad cop routine. The bad cop came in and grabbed my arm and tapped the vein on my. He said, "This is where the needle's going to go if you don't cooperate and tell us." Like this is, and I'm going to make sure I'm there to watch. And at some point, he said, "We think it was your roommate. He's in the next room." He said, "Your roommate's about to turn state's witness against you." He was a Latino detective. And he said, it's really horrible that in these kind of cases, the white guy always gets the deal and the minority gets the bad end of the stick. He said, in this case, why don't you flip the tables? The white guy can get the bad end of the stick and you give us a statement and you can walk. So he went through what he wanted me to say. I just repeat, or they typed that last statement and then saying that I was in there doing these horrible things. I signed it and then I was arrested. Problem, this attorney that they appointed me, he was just out of law school. He hadn't been practicing 5 years. And for you to take a death penalty case, I wouldn't take it. I'm a practicing lawyer, I wouldn't. So I got upset and I went to try to fire my attorney. I told the judge, I want to fire my attorney. They didn't fire him. So at that point, I'm in there 6 months and my mom is starting to call me. She says, "You know what? They're going to give you a death penalty. You're going to die." I said, "I didn't do this, Mom. I'm not going to." "No, I know you didn't do it, but they're going to kill you." I remember the tears that started forming in my eyes. I didn't want the other prisoners, inmates, to see me because that's a sign of weakness. So when I heard that, I hung up. And I went to my cell and that's when I made the hardest decision in my life that nobody really understands it, even to this day, nobody. Two detectives came to see me. One, a detective from the Austin Police Department in Texas, and a Texas Ranger. They came to talk to me, interview me, not about another crime, but about the same crime. That's when I wrote the Wisconsin Innocence Project. I wrote them a letter, explaining everything from the beginning of the interview, how it went down. And I said, "I think there's DNA evidence." So they took it. I got the call from the attorneys. They said, "The DNA tested said you're not the donor and neither is your roommate. But it includes a guy named Marino." He said, "Marino." He says it casually, like I know what's going on. Like, what the hell? Who's Marino? What are you talking about? "Wait a minute, you don't know?" I said, "No, I have no clue what you're talking about." Then he tells me apparently Marino, his name was Akeem Marino. He is the guy that actually did the crime. The impact that I have felt in my life because of the guilty plea and all that, it's done a lot of damage to me as far as, relationship-wise. I think that's the biggest thing. I think it almost took my life. I was told by a forensic psychiatrist that they didn't expect me to live past 40. So I was going to kill myself. That's how damaged I am. But I've surpassed that.